Welcome back again to Arinka's Kitchen. I'd like to share another family favorite recipe that's very simple and easy to make. It is called potato pasta, KRUMPLIS TÉSZTA. And what I did was I peeled and diced potatoes, and then I cooked them in 6 cups of water with 1 teaspoon of salt. I drained the water off of the potatoes, and then I put them into a bowl ready to put into this cooking pot on the stove. And then I cooked 4 cups of egg noodles in 6 cups of water with 1 teaspoon of salt, and then I drained the water off of the egg noodles, and then I have that ready for when I add it into the cooking pot again. Okay, and then I added 1 teaspoon of margarine to the egg noodles while they were hot. So I've done that so that the egg noodles won't stick together. And then I'm heating up the oil at minimum heat. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the diced onions to the oil. So I'm going to saute that in 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I'm just going to bring up the heats gradually to medium heat. And then what I do is I just continue to saute the onions. And then I start adding the spices. So what I would do was I would add the paprika. So I've added 1 tablespoon of paprika, but you can add more if you like or less, depending on the taste. And what's really interesting about this recipe is that it has the Hungarian paprika and the onions, the sauteed onions, and it has the potatoes and the pasta together. So it's a very filling recipe. You can also serve it with meat, but it also can be served as a main dish. Now you can double or triple this recipe if you're expecting more people over and you want to make a larger batch. You can double or triple the measurements of this recipe. So I'm just going to bring the heat up slightly higher. So you really want to watch that you don't burn the onions. So I'm bringing it up gradually to a higher level. I'm going to saute the onions. Now this was a very popular recipe in my mother's family because she grew up in a very large family during the war, and she had 7 other brothers and sisters, and then my grandma, of course, she ended up becoming a widow during the war, so she ended up raising 8 children on her own. So everybody in the family helped. Everyone helped cook and clean. If they were old enough to help, they would be helping around the house and helping out my grandmother. So this was a very simple, and it was a very sort of not expensive meal to prepare, and it was very filling. And this type of produce was actually more accessible in the market, so it doesn't have any meat in it. Now I'm going to add the paprika to the onions. So you want to make sure that you have enough oil there. You can add more oil if you feel that you need to do that, but I think 3 tablespoons of oil should be sufficient for this recipe. But if you're finding that you need to add more, you can add more to it. So I'm just going to bring the temperature up to a bit higher and continually stirring it. Then what I would do is I would add the potatoes, the diced potatoes, to it. Now I've used red potatoes. You can use red or white. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stir together the spices with the onions, and I'm going to keep sauteing and making sure that the onions and the spices don't burn, so you've got to kind of watch the heat. Then when this is done, what I would do is I would add the noodles to this recipe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue doing this for about 4 or 5 more minutes, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spoon in the noodles. Now I have sort of spiral noodles because that's what I was able to get at my local grocery store. They didn't have any square noodles, but usually traditionally they would use square egg noodles. I've got the spiral egg noodles. These are actually quite nice too. They kind of give a little bit of a more fancier appearance to them. But they look quite nice when you put the paprika in there and the potatoes. So it gives it a really quite a beautiful color to it. So what I would do is I would spoon in this into the potatoes and the paprika. I'm just going to bring down the temperature a bit. Then I'm going to start mixing the potatoes with the noodles. Well, this is looking just fantastic. The color is just magnificent with the potatoes and the... Now I've cooked up about 4 cups of noodles here, and depending on how much you want to use, I'm just going to use probably about 2 cups with this recipe, with the 4 potatoes, and whatever I have left over I can use it for you know, for a soup or whatever. But I think 2 cups of noodles would be sufficient enough for this recipe. And you just continually stir it. You might want to add a little bit more oil. I'm finding it a little bit drier, so I'm going to add some more oil to this recipe. So, and making sure that you stir it. Now it's some people like it kind of crunchy, like at the bottom it gets kind of crunchy. So my mom really liked that. That was the best part of what she liked out of the dish, was when the noodles got a little bit crunchy on the bottom. She would ask her mom to serve her that part of the, when she served the potato pasta. But the color is just great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you what this great recipe looks like. I'm just going to cook it for about another 5 minutes or so, and then it's going to be ready to serve. Welcome back again to Irinka's Kitchen. I've had on the stove a pot of KRUMPLIS TÉSZTA, and it's called potato pasta. So what I've done is I've been cooking this on the stove for about approximately 5 more minutes, and what I've done is I've spooned it into a serving dish. So what I'd like to do is show you this great recipe. Now, as you can see, the color is just great. I mean, it's got a reddish color to it, and there's potatoes and onions and pepper, and it's been sauteed in oil. So, and I've cooked up some egg noodles. Traditionally, they would use, Hungarians would use square noodles, but I was unable to find square noodles in my local grocery store, and so what I've done is I've used sort of a spiral type of egg noodle. So these work just as well, and they're just as great. And so this is a meal in one, and I hope that you enjoy cooking this for your family and friends. Until next time, bon appetit, yo eet. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at Irene@irinkaskitchen.com or irinkaskitchen.com.